Hello, everyone. Well, I don't know if I'm supposed to be on, but I think Tina's muted right now, so I'll continue if that's okay. Is that all right?
You are supposed to be on. Do you see what happens? Like no
Okay.
one loves silence, and I want to is the most silence is the most listen underused tool in sales like this. Whoever speaks tool and said exist. Whoever's it's your offer and myself, we are comfortable with silence. Like we can't just sit there. We're like, okay, something has to be said, something has to be done. And Mia's like, hello, hello, like, hello, hello. She's gonna talk to you about the power of branding, the power of branding through the secret weapon that we all know. Well, some of us may not, but I promise you, once Mew finished, I'm an entrepreneur, a beautiful woman inside and out. She's a mom, a wife, and also a beast simultaneously. I don't know how you can do all that. Be a wife, a mom, an amazing person, beautiful inside and out, and a beast at the same time. She is a beast when it comes to a specific industry. And Mew, I am going to move out of the forefront and I'm going to give you the floor. So Mew, over to you.
Well, thank you so much, Tina. I just want to say I am so honored to be at this event. People who've been diagnosed with bipolar disease and said, I'm not going to be defined by my label, or, having 7 kids and not being told you can't walk and can't raise your own kids and, provide for them. And I am just floored by the amount of powerful women. And so I'm just going to share with you a little bit about branding. And it's actually, I just want to tell you that I didn't come from money. I actually am a former refugee from Cambodia. So I know what it's like to start all over, not have any connections, not knowing anything. And I even grew up being told that, as a woman, I would never graduate from university. I wouldn't amount to anything as a woman. And what I did was, I'm one of those women who says, you tell me what I can't do, and I'm going to show you that I can, and I'm going to do better than what you think is possible for yourself, kind of situation. So, I grew up with very little money, with people who had PTSD. And so, but I wasn't going to let things be in my way. I was like, not going to. So a little bit about my entrepreneurship. I am trained as a computer scientist, and I went into the entrepreneurship world as a corporate trainer for the IT industry during the dot-com bust. Now, my peers were getting laid off, yet I was still last person standing. Not the last person standing, I was a computer consultant. Anybody who knows what a consultant is they're usually the first ones laid off because usually they're highly paid. But because of branding, the secret weapon of branding is being seen with authority. So for me, I align myself with authority figure in the industry. And because I was seen as authority, I was the person to, close down the office and move from one job site to another, and still gave myself a 10% raise during the dot-com bust. Now, eventually I married an American, and I didn't want to continuously travel so much for work. It wasn't conducive to raising a family. So I decided to, go into real estate. It's something I've always wanted to do. I thought it was the best way to, help somebody pay for my future kind of situation. So I got into real estate just in time for the housing market crash. So here I am, a Canadian. I'm in the Boston area. And if anybody doesn't know what the Boston area is, people are so well connected. People buy houses across the street from their parents. That's how well connected. I'm Canadian, not knowing the area. By that time, I'd only bought one home, know nothing about real estate. Yet I was still able to sell 4 to 5 homes per month in a down market where people were quitting the professions who were in the field for like decades. And so how do I do that? Again, it's branding, being seen with authority, aligning myself with the heavy hitters in industry. Now, eventually, my husband got a job in a different state. And as anybody doesn't know about real estate as a realtor, you only licensed by the state. And at that time, I was pregnant. We were starting to grow a family. I wanted a lot of kids. And so I decided, in a new state, I don't want to start my relationship and my net connection again. I just want to focus on being a mom. So I was a stay-at-home mom for 15 years. And then I went back to entrepreneurship world. And I knew the importance of aligning yourself with heavy hitters in the industry. And so when I decided to host events, I needed some heavy hitters. And this is how powerful branding is. And if you line yourself with heavy hitters, it is so easy. Because when I declared I was going to have Les Brown on my stage, it took me 2 months. And a month after that, it took me to get Forbes Riley. And a month of that, Sharon Lecter. So I went 4 months of actually deciding to have celebrity speakers, I actually landed 3 of them. So it was 1 per day. That's why it was a 3-day event, 1 celebrity speaker per day. That was what my declaration was. So I'm going to show you how to actually align yourself with heavy hitters, and especially if you're doing events, because most of us here are coaches, and the importance of events and aligning yourself with celebrity is you're actually borrowing the audiences of the celebrity speakers because if you're new to entrepreneurship world, new to your industry, you're basically seen as nobody. You're like a nobody. But if you're aligning yourself with somebody who's been industry, I mean, Sharon Lecter was the co-author of Rich Dad Poor Dad series. I don't know how many books there are, but the Poor Dad Rich Dad series has probably sold tens of millions of copies. So you're aligning yourself with these people who actually already have a built-in audience. Imagine that. It's like making your business invincible. I've done it as in real estate. I've done it in tech, and we're doing it again in the event space. So to be seen with authority, especially in the world of events, because you're borrowing the audience of the heavy hitter, the industry, the celebrities. It follows with the acronym POW. And if we have time, I'll use the ER for power. And if you can reach out to me, I can give you the PDF. I'm actually on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all using MewFan. Just search me. There's not that many of me out there. So P stands for powerful partnership. So how I created the powerful partnership is in my business I'm going to actually go straight into events because I think this relates to people most. So when it comes to powerful partnership, I knew that I didn't have an audience of my own. I didn't have any credibility of my own. And I thought, well, Les Brown has been in the industry for 47 years as a coach. I'm like, wow, he's got like, what? I don't know, 5 million followers just on YouTube alone. So I'm like, if I'm seen on the same stage as Les Brown, if he's speaking on my stage, that would be amazing. And so let me show you how I did it. Like, that's the importance of, okay, I'm going to have Les Brown. How am I going to have him? You got to take a declaration. Because what I did was I went on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn and declared who I was going to have and how I was going to do it. And I even had the audacity to go in-person networking event. It was actually a women network, paid for expert promotion, went to the front of the room and said who I was going to have and how I was going to do it. And I did this twice for the in-person networking event. It was once a month. And then lo and behold, the universe downloaded an opportunity for me. It was during COVID. And I went networking with Les Brown's friend. And I was one of those few people. I don't know why people would have networking events, go to networking events and not turn on camera. That sounds silly to me. However, even though there was close to 100 people at that event, I was the few people who had the camera on. And my picture showed up. I was interacting in the chat, and I gave my phone number for a raffle for Les Brown's friend. And he approached me, and that's how I got Les Brown as my first celebrity speaker. So I declare, if you want a celebrity speaker, you can just declare it, and it will happen. You'll be surprised how fast it would work for you. Now, that's the P for powerful collaboration. And so for you, how do you get these celebrity speakers to help raise your brand? Is first, it starts with you, who you serve, and in what capacity, how you serve them. And take the who you serve and think of who serve the same clientele as you. And not only just who, the big guns in the industry. And the best part is the big guns are the easiest people to find. You just, they're on social media. You can find them, you can Google them, and you can just gently, stalk them. So that's P for powerful collaboration. I've showed you how to pick your powerful partner and how to actually get in front of your powerful partner. Now let's go for O. O for outstanding results. Now, chances are, as coaches, as entrepreneurs, we are competing with thousands of people every single day who are basically doing similar work as we are. Unless we stand above the crowd and declare results above the crowd, we're just going to be in a sea of ordinary, and we get lost, and then we just lose our dream. So how do you actually declare the outstanding results? Well, first it starts with declaration, how you are going to do it. Now, one of the people say to me is, don't make declaration and don't broadcast it, because what if you fail? It would be so embarrassing. But I want to encourage you to declare anyways, because there's a saying by Les Brown: if you shoot for the moon, you'll still be among the stars. If you shoot for the moon, you'll still be among the stars. And so in one of my first celebrity event, I declared 30,000 registration. I didn't even get close to 30,000 registration. However, as somebody who got 1,600 registration, over 1,600 as a first celebrity event, that is actually pretty unheard of. But not only did that failure that looked like it was a failure, I caught the interest of some really important people who actually knows how to monetize on YouTube. And that's what we're doing next. I'm partnering with the next person on my next event called Marketing Summit 2023. So if you actually want to join us. It's Marketing Summit 2023. It's only a $49 charge, and we're aiming for 2,500 registration. And the best part is he's paying for the ads. I can't believe it, right? He's paying for the ads. So I encourage you to make a large declaration so you can aim for the moon, and be among the stars. And so take action. And so declare it, take a little action every single day. And for me, how I actually approach outstanding results is actually hiring somebody who's actually done it already. So I've actually hired a coach who's had hundreds of thousands of registration for one of his events. Now, I never got, he's done that. And so he knows the process. Even though I didn't get my 30,000 registration, I actually know the process, and I haven't had all my things aligned my process online to get to the hundreds of thousands of registration that he's got. However, I'm going to, taking steps to get there. Now, I'm going to talk about the next letter, and W stands for winning mindset. Now, I think a lot of coaches think about, taking a goal and then taking a little action. That's great. I'm all for that. However, I want to move back and start before the goal setting. I want to start off with what words that you describe when you're winning. How are you feeling when you're winning? For me, my words are freedom and ease. I hear people say security, people say peace. And if you don't know how to tap into those words, think of what it's like when you are doing your hobby. And you sometimes, you want to challenge yourself and do something new. Like maybe you love cooking and you want to try a new dish, a new African dish that, they use the same spices as Indian, like curcumin and, coriander. But you're so familiar with Indian food. Maybe you want to make South African food. And you've never done before, yet you love cooking so much, you're willing to take the challenge. And while you're doing it, you're probably feeling some greatness, some excitement. Well, take those words you feel and take that approach every single morning. Think about it. What you're going to do to make those feelings come true every single morning. First thing you think of when you go to bed, wake up, and then last thing you think about when you go to bed. And feel those feelings and then set your goals towards those feelings one step at a time. And so I want to show you the power of winning mindset. Now, like when I was growing up, like I said, I didn't grow up with money. And to tell you the truth, among the Asian community, Cambodians are considered one of the stupidest Asians. It's not like because we're genetically stupid. We've had, historically, our history has been, troubled by the Cambodian genocide. And, there's been research on Cambodian parents that they're really not very good at raising their kids because of the trauma. So I grew up with, in poverty, people with PTSD from the war, plus what happened to them before the war. So, but I wasn't going to let that define me. And what I did was, this is how powerful a winning mindset is. To coming from a place of me, it's freedom and ease. Is that when I applied for university, I had no way of paying for it. I didn't have a job. I didn't really have any savings. My family wasn't going to support me. I still applied for school. And when it was time to pay for school, you know what I did? I walked to school with an empty backpack, except for two bags. Two plastic bags in my backpack. One bag of coins and one bag of bills. So imagine this. As a 18-year-old, I went to school, went to the registrar office, paid for my tuition in full for one semester, and the person had to tally the bills and the coins to pay for my tuition in full. So how did I do that? Coming from winning mindset. When I decided to go to school, I knew how much it was going to cost. I broadcasted to everybody I talked to. And so I started off with this. I had a step uncle, as uncle-in-law, and he would tell me to pull his hair. And I was like, okay, well, if I ask him, 15 cents per head to pull white hair, I'll get $1 really quickly. Of course, I did that. I told him I wanted 15 cents per head white hair, and he didn't allow me to, pull hair anymore. However, I caught the attention of his wife, and she gave me my first job. I worked at Hewlett Packard packing boxes. Hey, Tina, was my time up? I'll quickly finish my story because I think it's super powerful. So what happened was, she found me the job. I was double minimum wage, which is awesome. My first job was double minimum wage. And what I did was I learned the power of overtime. So for 20 hours in 1 week, I got regular pay. And then I worked for 40 hours per week. I worked and got regular pay. And I spent another 20 hours per week on getting double pay. And I did this over the summer. And that's how I paid for my tuition and fall. Plus I had some, my birthday was in the summer. So I got spending money from people too in the family to, pay for my tuition. So I really think, even if it seems impossible, declare it anyways, because you never know who's going to respond to your call. And so back to you, Tina. I see you're on. I just want to finish my story. So anyways, if anybody's interested, I will have an event called Marketing Summit 2023. You can it just want a ticket for $49. You have people who are charging group programs are $185,000. You have people who actually, if you go on Siri and say, hey Siri, voices accord, she's got TV show, a radio station. And we have people who, help authors who go publish books, 200 people in 1 year. Can you imagine that? And
Hello.
Hello. I don't know if I'm over. I don't know what to do.
That was a wonderful speech and inspiring. I think Dr. Tina D. Lewis internet is low, so I just cannot. Thank you for the wonderful speech. We'll see you in the other session. Thank you.
All right, thank you.